Well, hey, good morning, everybody. This is Justice's Waiting Room, a daily live podcast. We discuss news and politics. I am your host. My name is Jared, and hey, don't use Afterpay. We haven't made like an any sort of a big deal about it because I didn't think I had to. So we already talked about how we don't want to buy stuff on credit because then you end up paying several times more than you would have otherwise paid for it. But the lie is that more money was spent on Black Friday, and the truth is more money was borrowed with interest. And that's fuck, man. A very low percentage of Black Friday sales were cash. So, um, I wouldn't call myself like the Debbie Downer here, just the realist, right? Like rather than try to sell you the lie that the economy's in a good shape and Black Friday is an example of how great that is. No, actually, like an inordinate percentage, meaning like an unordinary, like an unusual percentage of goods were purchased using Afterpay, and yeah, yeah, banks and loan sharks. It's exactly right, Zeke. Okay, so I know it kind of goes without saying, right? Because I work in finance with the goal of putting people in a financial situation to buy a house or a car and like kind of grow up, right? It just so happens a lot of my clients are over 50. You mean they talk shit about the younger generation? Oh my god, it's a million times worse. I think, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm a millennial, right? Um, we've never really been expected to have any kind of financial intelligence at all. Um, but I think I can not jump any sharks by saying, hey, if not credit cards, certainly not short-term loans, certainly not Afterpay or Klarna. Fuck. I I almost feel compelled. Are you want to hear some wild shit? Um, I watched. I shouldn't have done this, but I watched a video about how to make money on the internet now, and god damn it, data and finance is like the number one way to make money on the internet now is because people are not taught financial literacy. And I'm not saying that I'm financially literate. There are holes in my game, but what I you can ask my wife. Uh, Certainly have tried to live within my means and can shut down spending and have no problem boycotting. That leads to me to my second point. Okay, I think the biggest perp, the bad guy in all of this, goddamn, is Facebook. Um, Facebook puts so much stuff in front of your eyeballs, and that's how people work. Um, the more steaming burgers you put in front of my face, the more I'm going to Wendy's, right, Taylor? I can only see so many fucking commercials for a fucking hot Dave's Double right before I'm sitting in that goddamn drive-through. I'm a fucking rat too. But fuck. We spent a whole goddamn bunch of money on shit that we couldn't afford. That's what happened on Black Friday. And it's destroying people financially. It helps me. So understand that I'm like upset cuz people are fucking themselves over and if they don't do something they're fucked forever. And I talk to the other end of that all the time. And it's just like god damn it. All over bullshit you didn't even need? Like Black Friday shit and Christmas, you know what I mean? Like it's so fucking disappointing. Consumerism is just so fucking disappointing. Um, a thing. It's a feature of capitalism. This is what they want you to do. They want you to like want new shiny shit. You know, my wife will have to get on me to buy a new hat year to year because if I don't, you'll just see this fucking bill start shining with dirt and oil over time because I'll just wear that shit until it breaks, right? Because I'm not a up. So that's why I can start off, and we ain't talking about no fucking news right now. I'm talking about life decisions. Certainly not a credit card, then definitely not a short-term loan, and most goddamn definitely not a fucking Afterpay or Klarna. The thing is, they get their money now and the interest. That's what's fucking shitty about like Afterpay and Klarna is that they're eating you. They're like eating your money. Anyway, I'm sorry I haven't been reading the chat. My bad, dog. I came in on one today. Only money spent during the blackout was a vet. That's great. We ate. I think we ate local pretty good, and we did buy Chipotle like the night before, night after it started, it's just to have food for a few days. So that's how kind of how we did. No control office. We stick it to the system. I hope so. Squint. I fucking hope so. Having a good burger. Only like us Five Guys so juicy and freshly made. Oh my god. Oh my god. Zeke, I'm so sorry for you. And you know what? I'll back off that. Pretty good burger. It's a mid burger though, Zeke. But I can only say that you once you start dancing with the smash burger gods and they're seasoning a smashed patty, we're on a different level here. We're doing some different shit. That said, Culver's is a better burger than Five Guys. You could cut half that fucking bun off too, and it'd still be a better burger. Yeah, I'm just gonna set up make my own burgers. It's great. Whatever you do, do not put your groceries on after. Okay, I things I never. Hey, are you? I know there's a lot of people in here like, what the fuck is wrong with him today? In case I haven't said this before, you don't want to put your groceries on your credit card. You don't want to put your groceries on a short-term loan, and you also don't want to be using Klarna or Afterpay. I hope this helps. God damn it. All right. Elon Musk says the EU should be abolished. Abolished, because it's Elon. Anyway, after X Twitter was slapped with a $140 million fine. So remember, part of being a narcissist is being above accountability. Okay? The key to a good burger, okay, is that you cannot lay a plump patty. You don't want to lay a thick bitch. If you want a good burger, that patty needs to be compressed. You're probably best off. What are those things called? I think it's called a pastry press. But you should be pressing the shit out of your burger. I worked at Steak and Shake growing up. So you gotta understand. Yeah, yeah. The EU should be abolished because I gotta pay a nickel. The fuck out of here, dude. Okay, compared to how much money I have, it's like that'd be like me getting here pay a nickel. What the fuck? But yeah, once you can get off Five Guys, you can have your wallet back. So the problem with Five Guys is they're beating you up and taking your lunch money. Okay? You can make your own, or you can go somewhere else and save money and get a better burger. Shut down the entire country. They fined me. Anyway, Germany scrambles, oh boy, to unlock 165 billion euro in frozen Russian assets for Ukraine. Hell yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, teach me how to grow my own food. So stop doing shitty things, Muskie. Yeah, I was like on a tortilla. Now I'm interested. So yeah, I somebody made it. Taylor. So you lay a tortilla, you lay burger, you pin roll burger over a tortilla, and then cook it like a burger face down. hmm Oh, I've seen people do like tortilla sauce, press a burger over the tortilla, flip it, and then you put it on its back at the end. hmm He thinks his wealth absorbs them. Yeah, yeah. It's Friedrich Merz flew to Brussels on Friday to pressure Belgium into backing a 165 billion euro loan. Um, See exactly what I fucking said. God damn it! Don't you? What is that? Vindicated? Is it vindicated or vilified, or is it both? Yeah, I can do either way. But like I said, once you get into a smash burger, you gotta sauce it up. The U.S. continues to buy nuclear fuel from us for their nuclear power plants. Is that how that works? I'll play dumb. I'll play dumb. Is that how that works? Nuclear reactor fuel? Russia's second largest supplier of enriched uranium to the U.S. Oh, okay. Quarter of its sales. Expected to pocket $1.2 billion. dollars. I think we can pull a plug on that. Thanks for pointing it out. He's framing us as a strategic partner. Squint said I made tortilla smash burgers. Family went nuts. Yeah. Russia bombards Ukraine. NATO fighters scrambled in Poland. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. One. Something's wrong. Fighter pushing to smash the project. Removing top. Yeah. That sounds good. Don't forget to listen to War today. Hope you have a nice Sunday. I have the show and then a little break. And then I have D&D today. the Czech president, echoing my sentiment, the Czech president warns against concessions to Russia. If we allow Russia to come out of this conflict as a victor, we have all lost. And I agree. Yeah, I think I saw it on. I think I saw it on TikTok. Probably it could have been on YouTube. It's whatever. Yeah, I saw this yesterday. I was like, can't wait to talk about that. Ukraine's intelligence hackers cripple major Russian logistics network. I'm telling you, hey, the Ukraine, the Ukrainian military is on it. I wonder who is their heavy influence. Marine Corps. Anyway, yeah, that did happen. Are we sure? I thought it was Chernobyl, not Chernobyl. Or maybe that's what it is in Ukraine. Thanks for the dinner ideas. Yeah, I love it. Chinese dre- Chinese jets directed fire control radar at Japanese aircraft. The fuck? Huh. Beyond what is necessary for the safe flight of aircraft. Hey, so it's bad here, right? Russia's slowing wartime economy pushes Kremlin to increase taxes and fees. Yeah. And the people that are like alive that can still like fucking work in Russia, more of your money goes to see your neighbors get conscripted and drug into a fucking conflict that you don't want. Remember, Russians hate Americans. Why are you in Ukraine? Yeah, dying. The most meaningful death a Russian can have is at the hands of a Ukrainian. Russia terminates military agreements with Portugal, France, and Canada. Yeah, in Russia, their wartime economy is shit, so they're raising taxes. Yeah, come on, dog. The beatings will continue until morale improves. Hey, Russia is losing hard, and when people are losing hard, they cheat. I'm just telling you, as somebody who's done a whole lot of winning in my time, when you're beating ass consistently, the only thought on someone's mind is, I guess I could beat him if I cheat. That's why every day we see stories where it's like, Russia bombed out a fucking apartment building. Russia bombed out a fucking school. Is because they have to go outside the rules to make it feel like they won. So keep in mind, VPNs exist. Yeah. So anytime you see like, oh, they're going to restrict people by age from using social media, in my head I'm like, VPN. Yeah, I mean, squint. The downfall in my eyes, the end is when you're meeting people at the fucking airport and being like, "Are you Russian? How old are you? 35? You owe service." What? What? If I have any fucking money, I'm out of Russia. Period. But yeah, VPNs exist. So when somebody's like, "Hey, we're gonna limit 16-year-olds access to social media," they don't. They just don't want you to know what socialism is. That's what it is. I've convinced myself. Is that legal? All right. UK IVF couples use legal loophole to rank embryos based on potential IQ, height, and health. This is what white people are up to. That's some white people ass shit. Who? Oh no. You, you know how I know it's gonna be a rough 2026. Uh, the average price of rice in Japan is at an all-time high. From the Japan Times. All right, Asim Munir, now in control of Pakistan's nuclear button. I don't actually know what this means. Venezuela's Nobel winner will go to Norway to get their Peace Prize. Maria Corina Machado will be considered a fugitive if she goes to Oslo, laying bare the risks for the opposition leader. What movie was that? Similar plot. Pick and choose characteristics of the baby. Uh-uh. No idea. That sounds insane. But they're picking the features of the child. I mean, I feel like I've seen a lot of movies. But yeah, somebody was talking about Russia's collapsing economy will lead to Putin's downfall. And keep in mind, he turned on the people and raised their taxes. So he's not. What is going on here? Don't click on that link that says telegraphy. I think they put an I in there and it didn't need to be. But we'll let them figure that out. Okay. Possible coup in Benin. I don't know. A coup that was announced in Benin on Sunday has been foiled. The interior minister. Man, everybody's getting their nuts up, huh? Russia unleashes another massive drone and missile attack on Ukraine amid diplomatic talks. So keep this in mind. Zach Polanski. How many times throughout history has the global population been at risk due to famine? I don't know. We're about to Google that. Famine hasn't occurred as a single global event yet. But massive regional famines, often linked to war, politics, or environmental shifts, have happened repeatedly throughout history, causing tens of millions of deaths across centuries. Major events in the 1800s and 20th century, and ongoing crises, though geographically smaller today, fueled by conflict, climate, and instability, affecting hundreds of millions with acute hunger. They're, they not only priced you out of house and home. I don't know if I put war in there, so we'll put that in there. Wow. In the UK, up to 8,000 people could need hospital care before the flu wave reaches its peak. So keep in mind that's hospitalizations due to the flu. That's an intense form of the flu. US promises pre-Christmas arms boost for Ukraine. Pushes for Europe-led NATO by 2027. 2026 is looking up. Oh yeah, buddy. Oh yeah. Yeah, okay. So here's the article from yesterday where we were like, are you sure it's not Chernobyl? Because it was fucking Chernobyl yesterday, and then it became Chernobyl. And I feel like we're incredibly stupid. I feel like I'm incredibly stupid. So I'm gonna ask: Is is Chernobyl and Chernobyl different things? Chernobyl is Ukrainian, Chernobyl is Russian. So we can go ahead and stick with Chernobyl. That's what I thought. It's located within the Chernobyl exclusion zone in Ukraine, so it's actually called Chernobyl. CHOR instead of CHER. It's an easy switch. It's like when you got when remember when we were kids and you couldn't call each other faggot anymore. It's real easy to do. Remember that? I remember distinctly. I remember the teachers having a fucking huddle and talking about how we gotta stop. We kids can't be saying that shit anymore. And if it's that easy, even a language switch in fucking seventh grade for me, then we can stop calling. We can stop. We can take Chernobyl out of our fucking. That word doesn't even exist to me anymore. That's like dead naming someone. Hmm. That's what I think. So Chernobyl. I was right. Huh? How about them apples? Oh my god. Hey, dead ass. Ain't no party worth asphyxiating to death in a fire at. I didn't think I had to say it, but 25 people died in India at a fire at a club. Give me a little twinkle in my eye. I worked armed and unarmed security at music venues and nightclubs and zero fucking fires or deaths. Got there. It's like, this is what we think of poor people. 18 migrants die as an inflatable boat sinks off the Greek Isle of Crete. Two people rescued. Taylor said the party was lit. I mean, it was lit, but everybody wound up smoking out. So, no calls, emails beyond work hours. The right to disconnect bill introduced in Lok Sabha. Uh, all those people get paid nothing, and they're also getting bothered after hours. Oh my God. What the fuck is Russia's Africa Corps? Like, as Russia's Africa Corps fights in Mali, witnesses describe atrocities from beheadings to rapes. Oh my God. Why? I mean, it's the racism, Jack, but also the imperialism and expansionism and the going into people's fucking countries and just like sending part of your military. This is how I know that these old fucks were not meant to lead us. Because when it comes to the military, you don't want to be in operation in multiple theater. You don't want to do that. You don't want to split up your force. Now, imperialism and fucking expansionism have forced the US military to put bases all over the fucking world and conduct military operations in 191 of 194 fucking countries. I didn't say that made it right or the correct thing to do. You'd prefer to not be consistently engaged in conflict. It's much easier to train and motivate and maintain a group of people when you're not constantly putting them in a fucking line of fire. What? Yeah. And when you do get in conflict, your response matches the threat. You put out the conflict like you would blow out a candle. You regroup, you retrain, you get better from that, and you move on. What we've done in the United States, because of the military industrial complex, because of arms makers, is that we have to continually seek conflict because these arms makers need to continually be developing product. They have to continue to stay at the front, the tip of the spear. And the military wants to pick and choose the shit that gets made that they pick that's like the most lethal for its form, right? We don't need that shit. Guess what we don't need? We don't need to be continuing to develop more superior firepower. We don't need better jets. We need more efficient everything. We need less conflict. We need more. We're all gonna fucking die if we don't make drastic fucking changes. And all those gun makers, they need to be thinking about how can we preserve groundwater? How can we? You get what I'm saying? Like every corporation now needs to be. We need to be conserving. You need to be conserving this property you own. Because if you think immigration's bad now, if you think that you're touching elbows too often now, um, I shared with my wife this morning, and I'm sure we'll come across it eventually, where they're saying most of Europe will not be farmable within the next like 40 to 80 years. Huh, I wonder what happens along the way. Okay, I just want to make sure. Just want to make sure we got that. So if you think immigration's a fucking problem now, you know how we were kind of joking about, haha, let's move to Italy? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You can stay where the fuck you are, especially if you live near water. It just became super fucking valuable owning a water source. Who'd have fucking known? Just became hugely important. Why, you ask? Why, you ask? Because as the world dries up, if you have a source of water on your land, you could feed yourself longer than the person in the next lot over that ran out of water, couldn't couldn't water their vegetables even in a drought, wasn't able to feed themselves and died because they were unable to feed themselves. You can only keep yourself alive for so long, right? Huh. Wonder which country said food shouldn't be a human right. The US and Israel. All other countries said food is a human right. From ABC News within the last couple hours. 241 drones and 5 missiles striking energy infrastructure and killing 2 civilians. 175 of the drones and 4 of the missiles were shot down, jammed, or otherwise destroyed. 65 drones hit targets in 14 locations. Peaceful Ukrainian cities and communities. And the worst part about reforestation, the worst part about it is that trees don't absorb as much carbon as they used to. So it's it's still like a good thing to reforest. It's just not nearly as effective. Conflict between Pakistan and Afghanistan. Yeah, my I already have my rain collection barrel up because I noticed when I started getting my yard treated that the edges of my yard were starting to dry out. And how am I gonna regrow like whole patches of grass without relocating water to the patches of grass? Like should I be able to actually collect groundwater, right? Awash in oil money, Guyana unveils a new digital school to boost education in the Caribbean. Hey, that's nice. More education's a good thing. Go to college. More than 5 dozen items belonging to the First Nations Inuit and Métis are one step closer to returning home. Following 3 years of negotiations, 62 cultural items previously held in Vatican museums and vaults for centuries landed at Montreal Pierre Elliott Trudeau What International Airport just before noon. You know who agrees with you? The UN. So consider that the United Nations thinks that like food, water, shelter are all human rights, and the United States doesn't. We got to keep this population working. Paycheck to paycheck. Unable to defend yourself in the event that armed, masked men just show up at your house. You can't even afford to defend yourself. So clearly, von der Leyen and Merz are effective leaders. Let's hope so, Squint. Like I said, I read a report. It talked about like trees absorbing 40% of the carbon that they used to. See, this is what I want to happen to Elon Musk. Right here. U.S. sanctions British Sikh businessman and group over pro-Khalistan terrorism in India. Gurpreet Singh Rial, linked with the Punjab Warriors sports investment firm, faces an asset freeze and director disqualification as he is suspected of belonging to organizations involved in terrorism. The asset freeze removed from directorship. That's what I want for Elonia. Los Angeles Times with the fucking paywall hates you. Apparently, there was an explosion in Mexico that they're trying to make you pay for. Yeah, it is good for the soul. Iran continues crackdown on dissent with human rights lawyer found dead, arrests and disappearances. Oh my god. Syrian president says Israel is fighting ghosts. Yeah, we have overburdened our planet's natural filtration systems. Absolutely right. Yo, check it out. A ship in Bab el Mandeb Strait between Yemen and Eritrea was attacked by pirates. Yar! That's awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and share the show and good morning. Have a super Sunday. Live on Twitch and YouTube. JWR is the hashtag. Obviously, Free Palestine, Slava Ukraine. And remember, for me, the boycott continues and will persist. Um, Only use Facebook to share the show. Yeah. Not even logging in there. Twitter looks like shit. Witnesses video. ICE vehicle ran over the legs of a man detained in Vancouver. Hell yeah, brother. Alright, so Local 12 out of Cincinnati reporting that grenades and explosives were found in the crawl space of a home. The homeowner said, at first I thought they were fake. What, no white elephants stalking Facebook? I cannot believe that, by the way, for those of you that maybe didn't see the piece of content I made last night, but I was watching the Big Ten Championship last night. And again, if you live under a fucking rock and you did not watch Ohio State, Indiana, I was beat ass tired. And I didn't even go to IU. I went to Purdue. And I made sure I watched at least the first half of that game last night. And I'm going to watch the second half today. Now I know that IU won, and it's not even what we're talking about. It was a 3-0 game. Okay? And I watched a commercial from fucking Facebook. So I'm watching a football game and a commercial comes on and it's for Facebook. And I want you to get in the mind frame of Christmas. And if you don't know what it is, you need to Google white elephant so that you can get in the mind frame of the commercial. The commercial is a holiday Christmas themed commercial where it is very clearly a white elephant gift themed partay. The male in the show opens the name he drew and it's a woman. And he looks over at her and she just looks busy. Dead ass. She didn't look unapproachable. Instead of getting up and going over and introducing himself and getting to know them over time and eventually like having coffee and he ran into her in public and saw her dog and was like, oh, I've heard of you. And like instead of being like a wholesome commercial about somebody like striking out and making a new friend at work, what did this person do? They Facebook stalked them and looked at pictures that that person did not send to them to get gift ideas, to find a way to appease them without speaking to them. Do you understand that that is full-throated stalking? That's stalking someone. without speaking to them, going onto their social media profiles and trying to figure out what they like and trying to appease them, that's fucking stalking someone. And that's stalking a fucking coworker. And Facebook normalized that shit. There's a reason, I mean, god damn. If there was, again, my wife has to just be like, this asshole. Like, I've been telling you for fucking a year, hey, you gotta get off of Meta tools, man. Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp. I didn't even know they owned WhatsApp. But Messenger, you gotta get rid of all that shit. It is not secure. They are tracking you. Look at the fucking advertising they're doing. They are trying to normalize using their site to stalk people. That's what that commercial did. It is an attempt to normalize stalking. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, because I'm always right. And sometimes it's like so abundantly correct that it's like a commercial that they spent millions of dollars on. And it's like that. See, that's why you should delete that shit from your phone. Because these motherfuckers are crazy. And I've been telling you to do that forever. Secret Santa. You're right. I'm wrong. Secret Santa, not White Elephant. I thought White Elephant just meant that the person getting the gift doesn't know who they're getting it from. But I'll agree with you. But anyway, so I've been saying to delete that shit from your phone and stop using it. This commercial is a great example of why. Also, I would argue that right before the election, Mark Zuckerberg flew to Mar-a-Lago and gave Donald Trump $1 million when he was very broke. Yeah, get off of fucking Facebook. It's crazy. Anyway, in Cincinnati, somebody found grenades and explosives in their. Facebook either. I don't know what you're talking about. Judge rejects Trump's. This is written like shit. Judge rejects Trump administration's bid to toss lawsuit challenging Guantanamo migrant detentions. A federal judge has rejected a request from the Trump administration to toss a lawsuit challenging the detention of migrants at the U.S. Navy base in Guantanamo Bay. Hearing next week. Keep in mind, it can only hold like 500 people there. Yeah, somebody said these rich cucks. Yeah, bending the knee to Trump. Yeah. Former Senator Bob Menendez banned from holding public office in New Jersey. The state court made a ruling against the ex-lawmaker, now serving an 11-year sentence for bribery and acting as an agent of Egypt. What the fuck does that even mean? Holding out hope for a pardon from Trump. Of course. Of course. Traitor. Acting as an agent for Egypt. Traitor. That's the word we were looking for. The pilots union. So we're very pro-union here. The pilots union has won their bid to keep Allegiant Air. Basically, the union flexed its muscles and prevented an airline. So we've talked about, I'm very pro union. I'm actually in two unions. I'm part of Working America, and then I also recently joined the Military Veterans Council, which is also a union. Okay? So unions showing their power here, keeping a corporation from getting residency in the United States and being able to be tradable on our stock exchange by hiring foreign pilots. So there's a reason that I'm a syndicalist socialist. If we want to recover from this regime, we got to join a union. You got to get union jobs. You got to take on union positions. Why? Because think about someone who is an effective union leader. Their job's to get increased pay and benefits for the people that they work for, right? If you're good at that, and that's like what is second nature to you, is that this isn't about me and enriching myself. This is about stabilizing a workforce for an organization that's producing something that is fucking important, right? So here's Allegiant's pilot union is blocking the airline's attempt to secure permanent residency. They want to hire dozens of foreign pilots from Chile, Australia, and Singapore. And what they want to do is they want to pay those foreign pilots a lot less money. So it's not just that they're taking our gerbs, right? Which is kind of what most people think. Oh yeah, I saw those creepy motherfuckers get up there and they're like, we're gonna give away our money. Every child's gonna start with a savings account. I fucking hate it. Look at this shit. See, this is what I was afraid of. Okay? Nobody asked. But Germany has introduced a new controversial military service law. Okay? With powers including needs based conscription. Those last three words. So basically, you could be drafted to do your country's bidding based on what they need. And again, this is opposed to you joining the military voluntarily and agreeing to do a job. And they can force you into service because they have to have this role filled. Problematic. There's a reason controversial is in the title. And keep in mind, a little bit of a slow news weekend. What is ITV? Great. UK's largest commercial broadcaster is in talks over a possible acquisition by Sky, owned by America media conglomerate Comcast. Trump despises Comcast chief executive Brian L. Roberts. So I just found somebody that I like. Although I don't know if the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's not always that way. Data shows that ICE has arrested 75,000 people with no criminal records. So understand, when you get put in handcuffs and get taken somewhere, the entire reason that you're like able to do that is reasonable suspicion of crime. How the fuck do you not have a criminal record getting fucking arrested by ICE just for being brown and not speaking English as a first language? That's fucking terrible. ICE officers are under intense pressure to increase arrests. This is why they're going to Home Depot. It's because of all the pressure. This is why they're going to right. What? Yeah, that shit was crazy. You talking about that black lady with the funky teeth that straight up confronted somebody and was like, "You see how easy it is to find you off the internet? You think that shit's funny?" The Trump administration acts like it's gonna do shit. They say they're skeptical about the Netflix Warner Brothers deal. Oh, and in case I don't say it often enough, I keep seeing people get approached by the police over their comments on the internet, and I'm like, what? Fuck Israel? Fuck ICE? What? Freedom of speech means those things are not the U.S. government, right? I'm not criticizing the government. I'm just exercising my free speech. Fuck Russia, fuck Israel, fuck ICE. What are we even talking about? Yeah, I agree. And he had a fucking grinder account? Jesus. San Diego's clergy offers solace to immigrants and a shield against ICE. In no other U.S. city has the faith community mobilized at such a. Motherfuckers really do think they can just say whatever they want on the internet. It really wild. A guy I worked with who lives in the same like city as I do, uh, completely disrespected me publicly on Facebook in the wake of the election. And what's great about that is I just blocked him and was like, "What a fucking crazy person! Like I don't even know you, Delulu." And I can't tell you before I got off Facebook how many messages I got from people that were like, "He's a fucking idiot. Everybody fucking dislikes him and distrusts him." And I'm like, "Oh, that sucks for them." So they had to attack me. But yeah, they said that I was like a disgrace to the service and all kind of shit, and it was just like, fuck you. So, content creators being approached by FBI and law enforcement. Do you honestly think that the police department has the time and the energy and the money to chase around every idiot on the internet making threats? In the one case, it was her ex that did it. Mossy matriarch. Her ex did that to her. In terms of the girl showing up at the, he did that shit to himself. What the fuck are we talking about? So I'm more thinking like law enforcement. You mean the fucking new guy? You ICE? Oh you mean the fucking new guy? Because that's what I think it is. They send the new guys out to fucking haze content creators. You saying shit about Israel? The fuck out of here with that weak shit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you go back and you watch the Mossy Matriarch video, she talks about the things that they were asking about. She had really only discussed those with her partner. Like she'd posted about some of those things. But yeah, from what I understand, I'm again relaying after watching the Mossy Matriarch video. I was like, it sounds like she was talking about it was her ex that did the deed, in terms of like calling the feds on her and shit and saying she was making violent claims. I'm allowed to be wrong because I don't know that person. It's gossip at this point. But let's just pretend it's not, and let's just pretend that women are the irrational, emotional ones. Think of all the thing DJT says, how cops show up at his house and have a talk with him. He has a freedom of post, but regular people can't. Yeah, yeah. People fundamentally do not understand free speech. Like, people just do not get it. Free speech is not your ability to say whatever you want. That's not what that is. Free speech means that the government can't deny you your ability to freely speak. So it's actually a violation of your free speech for any person in a government position to want to suppress your right to speak. That is fundamentally a violation of your free speech. And I think there's a lot of things in the way that we operate in the court system, not necessarily court, but like governance, when it's like in session and shit, and they can censure someone and they can make it so you can't speak. Like a government, an elected official can make it so another elected official can't talk. Literally, like, they'll shut your fucking microphone off. Were you screaming this whole fucking bitch? Like, what? So I want to point out, I'm not saying I'm right, but I am saying in terms of Mossy Matriarch, I'm pretty sure she mentions, oh my god, like my ex did this. In the and I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. I want it to legitimately be someone that had no connection to her at all that called the fucking feds on her. But maybe it was just late. And I was just high and I just like read into some shit. Maybe it was the comment section. That'll get you. You know what they say, don't read the fucking comments. I don't think they were talking about reading the comments on other people's posts, but you can see how you could get the details fuzzy. Trump administration lets Southwest Airlines off the hook with a multi-million-dollar waiver for the 2022 holiday travel meltdown. I don't even know what happened a few years ago. Like we knew one of these stories today was going to be Trump giving a fucking handout to one of his billionaire fucking buddies. Biden ignored warnings and lost Americans' faith in immigration. God damn it, man. We are a nation of immigrants. We are all immigrants. Donald Trump's like the opposite. Vows to slam America's doors shut as he heaps scorn on immigrants. Donald Trump is an immigrant. Donald Trump is an immigrant. Charlie Miller is an immigrant. Charlie Miller. Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is an immigrant. Stephen Miller Stephen Miller's grandfather is a Belarusian immigrant. Grandpa, meaning he's like a second gen, third gen. He's a new one. It's so backwards. But Donald Trump's like great grandfather was full throated German, like didn't speak English, didn't live here. So that makes you an immigrant. It's just a racist. It's a racism thing. People think they can't be immigrants because they're white, and this is a white country. Um, this is the land white people stole. Just throwing that out there. Hmm. Testosterone has is more emotional than yeah. A journalist reported from Palestine. YouTube deleted his account, claiming he's an Iranian agent. Robert in Lakesh covered Russia's covered Israel's occupation of the West Bank. It's just funny. Yeah, so this is what I don't understand. Sorry, I guess. Big yawn. Um, if you go to war with Venezuela, you create millions of immigrants, refugees, people that are gonna flee. People don't want to be involved in conflict, so they're gonna get on a boat and come to America or come to one of these islands. Oh, yeah, 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 I remember now. But here's a CNN article that kind of covers what I'm talking about. A war in Venezuela creates immigrants to the United States. If you're trying to curb immigration, maybe don't war with other countries. And apparently, Donald Trump is such a star fucker that he's beefing with Sabrina Carpenter. We all migrate by nature. Yeah, humans are nomadic. Think about this. Do you know why we're bipedal? Do you know why we're bipedal? So we could run away. That's what we were meant to do. Is fucking fly. Like run as fast as you could fucking run. That's why you only have 2 feet. Do you ever notice how it's hard to walk backwards? Like you can do it, but you can't walk backwards nearly as smoothly as you could walk forwards. It's because we were meant to fucking run. We're a nomadic people that we're supposed to be constantly fleeing from our environment. So if you've ever felt the urge to fly, that's that's why. We are a nomadic people. You're moving around. Not too much though. Wear a fucking mask. Yeah, Gavin Newsom is pro billionaire, and that's why he can't be your president. Uh, has to be someone unaffiliated with Israel and opposed to billionaires. Yeah, I have been thinking about this lately. You know who was right? QAnon was right about elected officials being pedophiles. QAnon was right. Remember how they were calling it a swamp full of pedophiles and shit, and pedophile protectors and groomers and shit? But it was all the left. It was all the left, right? All the pedophiles were on the left. You know what's funny is that Epstein and Trump were Democrats. Like, Jesus Christ. I'm reading from CBC. American industry leaders couldn't have made their message to U.S. President Donald Trump any clearer. Over 3 days of public hearings in Washington, nearly 150 speakers representing every major sector of the economy depicted the Canada US Mexico Agreement, CUSMA, as essential to the success of their businesses. Yet, even while the hearings were unfolding, purportedly to give the White House advice on whether to extend CUSMA when it comes up to review in 2026, Trump and his aide representatives floating, letting the agreement expire or withdrawing from it altogether. Hey, John. After a year of posturing about Canada becoming the 51st state, disparaging his northern neighbor as nasty on trade, and slapping tariffs on many of its exports, perhaps it comes as no surprise that he'd threatened to tear up the very free trade agreement with Canada and Mexico that he signed in his first terms. The U.S. is such a mess right now. Yeah, you're right. The iNews reporting with a paywall. He's got a loping limp in a recent video. Hold on, hold on, hold on. I know he couldn't keep his eyes open in a meeting. Marine Corps Infantry. Yes, sir. 0351. I was an assaultman. I was on a combined anti-armor team. I always tell people I ain't no fucking war hero. I just know some. I got a big weight off my shoulders. I don't know if I told you all about this. By the way, I'm live on both YouTube and Twitch and have an audience on YouTube as well. So, what was I going to talk about? I always felt some type of way because so many young men and women my age and younger and older have somehow found their way into the fray, into combat. And as I've said before, I'm not a war hero, and I don't know, I know some. Um, and when my squad mate came to Indianapolis over the summer, we spent some time together and were just sort of reminiscing. And he said something to the effect of, "What'd you do when you came home?" And I said, "Well, I worked armed and unarmed security at music venues and bars and shit around the city and at music festivals to try to keep people safe. They're just trying to have a good time." And he was like, "Did anything ever happen?" And I said, "Well, I got shot and shot at a Dollar General on the South Side. That was before I joined the Marine Corps. And then when I came home, because I'd already been shot and shot at, I stopped carrying a fucking pistol and was just like, I'll just fist fight. I give a fuck. Like, I ain't trying to do that shit anymore." And he was just laughing, and he said, "Well, that little scuffle you got in before you joined is more action than we got." And he explained, like, we went on the boat ride and then we got sent back to Iraq and we were on fucking security for 7 fucking months, and there was you you stood at a fucking gate and you went back and played video games at your in your bed. That's what we did for 7 months in Iraq. No one shot anyone or got a combat action ribbon. So, and I was just like, oh fuck. And he's like, yeah. So like, don't feel bad like you missed anything. And I was like, wow, that makes me feel a lot better. You know what I mean? Somehow I got to avoid. I always tell people I'm super lucky. Not so lucky. Just can you imagine getting sent to the most combat deployed unit in Marine Corps history and they basically shut it off? Two straight, they went on 26 mu and then they went back to Iraq and just nothing happened. The whole time I felt some type of way like I had done less for my country or some shit. And it turned out like, fuck you talking about? Just showing up every day is plenty. So one of the things that you have to be able to catch people doing is covering their own ass, right? Pete Hegseth is starting to dodge questions about these boat strikes when he has been operating with fervor. John said, "My dad has cousins that served in Iraq and Afghanistan." Yeah. So when they start dodging fucking questions, that's how you know. That's how you know shit is fucked. And Donald Trump's getting fucking mocked for accepting a fake award. I want to make sure we talk about this. We got to spend some time talking about this. It's one thing to capitulate to this motherfucker, right? It's one thing to kiss Donald Trump's ass. It's a whole nother thing to make up a fucking award. Baby is a game. See y'all tomorrow. Hey, enjoy. Hope they enjoy. Tom Cotton coming out. Wait. Do you mean like Angie? Are you saying Tom Cotton is coming out as gay? That doesn't explain anything, but yeah, I mean, if you think about it, the entire it feels like the entire Republican Party is being coerced. Like, yeah, they're being paid by Russia, but it's like they also like they have something terrible, some terrible secret about themselves that they're keeping. And in exchange for getting to keep this terrible secret about themselves, like I always wondered what's my terrible secret? Like, do I have a terrible secret? I've been high almost every day since I've been home from the Marine Corps. I drank quite a bit too, but like I was high a lot. I'm really lazy. Yeah, I was gonna say if yeah, if Tom Cotton's gay, it's like, well, yeah, but he has other problems. I can promise you that. Two, three, and four strikes. Here in Indiana, they are fucking it up. Mid-decade redistricting because Republicans suck. Yeah. We got a new budget released by the government here last week and it sucks. Yeah. Fuck. Oh, Caitlin Collins at CNN got called stupid and nasty Look at this stupid, nasty motherfucker. By the way, look at him. Look at this grown ass man taxing us more here in the UK. Yeah, they're very anti-immigrant in the UK, John. It fucking sucks. That's wild. We are a nation of immigrants. Immigrants built this country. Immigrants pretty much build everything, everywhere. You see him glitch a bit. Oh shit. Dr. Oz warns Waltz. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, getting called out by Trump is great for you. Had to face a lot of racism. I fucking hate that, man. I'm so sorry to hear that. Do you know, I, I'm in my 40s and I've been saying this my whole life about how much resources have been poured into the world to stamp out racism. And prior to Donald Trump, I'm you can call me rose-colored glasses, but prior to Donald Trump, I kind of thought we were over it. I'm wrong. I'm horribly wrong. But racism, as far as I grew up around racism, I felt it had expired. I was still stamping it out. You got to remember, I wonder if my wife remembers this. Before I left Defenders, I got my call center director fired for being a racist and sexist. Like, I went out of my way to record multiple people's statements against the man, including him admitting, I'll treat people however the fuck I want. They're not going to do anything. This is $1 billion company. And I was like, ooh, I recorded that bitch. Anyway, so I thought that there were a lot of resources poured into fighting racism because I see it as the lowest form of hate. I don't think we ever talk about this often enough, but like, I say it with my fucking full chest. Racism is motherfucking beneath us as a species. We are all shit. Or rather, I should say, we are all cousins. Cousins are better. We are all related, whether you fucking like it or not. The more facial features and skin tone and height range that you share in common with your spouse, the closer you're related. So for those of you that like, I'm a white man with blonde hair and blue eyes, and I want to marry a white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes, guess what? You married a close cousin. And that's the fucking problem. That's why white people are so wildly fucking unhappy, and it's because your families are too close. Literally. You're related. You got some fucking branches in your trees crossed up there. And as a result, some shit doesn't, you don't understand some shit on like a basic level. And what happens is when you're pressured at all, you fall to absolute shit and you devolve into the worst version of yourself. And the worst version of every person is that uncontrollable, rage filled, racist ass shit that I've just been exposed to from my family my whole life. And there's a reason that I don't fucking talk to them. And that's because when I confronted them, they said that's just how I am. And when I confronted the other members of my family, were like, yo, this motherfucker's racist. I'm really not trying to be around that shit. They were like, that's just how they are. And I said, fuck you both. You'll never see me again. And I chose instead to have fucking friends and have people occasionally text me and ask me how I'm doing. And that's a whole lot more than I could say for a single fucking member of my family. So I was right. And I'm not crying, I just voice cracked. I was right. I would rather have zero connection to those racist motherfuckers and have friends instead. And Oh boy, it has paid off in spades. So I'm so sorry when I hear other people are a victim of fucking racism. It is fucking beneath us. We are better than that. I want to see it crushed again in my lifetime because I really do. I had to do a lot of research when all this shit started popping off about how did racism become okay again. And again, we did research, and we found that this all happened about 20 years ago. All this horrible shit that's going on right now, it's all about 20 years old. So in 2004 and 2005, basically Russia and the KKK in the United States, like the hard right racists in the United States, they combined forces. Russia said the key to the West is white supremacy, and Richard Spencer in 2004-5 said the key to the success of white people is racism. So somebody said it all started because of 9/11. Sure, a lot of people became suddenly racist in the wake of 9/11. I always thought the N word was the worst thing I'd ever hear. Just wait until sand N word. Yeah, you thought that was like the worst thing you were ever gonna hear. Yeah, what do you think they call dark people that don't speak English that live in like the Middle East? Yeah, yeah. So let's check the weather. A little bit eat the rich, get out of here. What do you say? Like when somebody makes a racist comment, it's like the dumbest thing you'll hear all day. Clearly, it was because of the color of their skin. Somebody asked, how do we fix them? Yeah. Well, John, I'm doing everything I can. I'm trying to found the American Socialist Party, which will ultimately result in the World Socialist Party. So I'm gonna spend the rest of my life trying to fix it. That's all I can really tell you, brother. I think everyone deserves universal health care, education, income, and housing. And that's what your fucking government should be striving to do. And if it's not, we're going to vote you out of office. We're going to elect people that aren't beholden to fucking corporations. Make sure you keep your head on a swivel, check out the weather. Ah, not as rough today. Yeah. I'm a disabled veteran, so I don't have any real commentary about the U.S. healthcare system other than that the costs are beyond acceptable. It looks like a pretty wild weather day. If I really had to talk about it, the weather intensity score appears to be pretty high according to Y'allbot. And that just means that the weather will remain intense over the course of the day as opposed to being like a spot shower here and there. Okay. When we look at the weather map in the northwest part of the United States, I'm talking about uh, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, northwest Montana, some mixed rain, snow. And then as you move east in northeast Montana and then the Dakotas down into Nebraska, thank you, more snow, ice mix. Then as you venture east, first you'll notice some snow, lake effect snow, I'm guessing, uh, northern Indiana, northern Ohio, Michigan, up into Canada. There's also a major storm system in what appears to be like the lower southern tip of Louisiana across the panhandle of Florida. So I would be concerned about inclement weather in the Gulf of Mexico facing communities. I would be concerned about that. I think obviously the snow in northern Indiana, northern Ohio could be bad. And it looks like there's a coastal flood advisory in California. So, like I said, keep your head on the swivel. One of the reasons that we finish every day talking about weather here is because of what happened in Hill Country, Texas, where elected officials denied important weather prediction equipment because of which political party it came from, and hundreds of people died or appeared to have died or were missing because of missing critical infrastructure. And I think that I can't do anything about that but talk about the weather for a few minutes uh, after looking at the news. So, have a great day. It's my day off. I'm gonna go play D&D, and we'll see you tomorrow.